The boys are back in town, baby.
Your face reacts.
The Grinch is back in town. Yeah, I watched part of the Grinch the other night. There's just so many good lines in there. It sounds like Michael every time he gets fired up.
Wait, what happened?
I watched the Grinch the other night, a little bit of it. And there's so many lines that sound like you talking and you're doing that stupid voice.
I watched the webinar last night at like 1 a.m. I got so bored, man. I just watched the webinar, the new one. It's fire.
Fired up.
Yeah, I like it a lot better than the first one.
Tyler.
What do you like better? What's different?
Well, at the end when you showed, I didn't watch the first one very often. I watched it like probably 3 times in the last year. But did you show that one graphic where it shows the money, the groceries, and then like no money? I didn't notice that in the first one. I think you might have hammered it a little bit better and said some better things in the second one. And then really talking about the binary compensation plan. Do you feel like you talked about that a lot more in the second one? Like you went back to it at the end and like made sure they like remember what this looks like. Remember how this is different. And I think you also said like go talk to you also talked about like how if it's less than $100 it's probably like a scam, or if it's over $1,500. Ice Jenks is right there in between, you'll find somebody that'll help you get started. So really like showing people like, because you get people on the phone, they're like, oh, how to buy something? Well, they probably didn't watch the whole video.
Yeah.
Or they didn't really clearly understand they were going to have to order product. But I think the ending was just a lot better, how to wrap it up and just letting people know what the next steps are for them getting started.
Cool. Thanks for the feedback. I gotta check it out. What's up, Casey?
What's up, guys?
You ready to
Finally got to put my face to the conference call here. But yeah, I'm excited to come down this morning and meet the team. I should be getting on a bus around 9:30 and getting there around 11:30.
Let's go, man. The frat house is ready for you, bro.
Tacos tonight. Got some business training tomorrow. Should be good.
Yeah, I brought some business cash clothes for the conference tomorrow.
Wait to meet you.
Who's this?
All right, guys, ready to get rolling? Taylor Peters, what day is it?
Freedom Friday, baby.
Show it.
Where's your pineapple shirt, man? I haven't seen that thing in a minute.
Haven't worn it in a while, bud.
You got retired. I see some people on a plane. Let's go.
Oh, let's go. I didn't see it. I just saw it.
I didn't see it either. It was creeping in the corner of my screen. Can't wait to see you guys. Awesome, guys. All right, let's get started. First off, I gave you guys a challenge yesterday. Who remembers what the challenge was? Colby does. I think Colby already completed the challenge, right? What's the challenge, Colby?
Share the new video with someone and get them to watch it.
Share the new webinar with someone. I know Colby already did that yesterday. Anybody else already complete that challenge for the week?
Yeah, Jared Saloy, he's the phone number. He shared it with somebody yesterday.
Jared did. Congrats, Jared, man. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Is this Jared's first call as well? I think it is, huh?
Yeah, this is his first call. It's he's calling in from his phone number.
Cool. You wanna introduce and welcome him?
Yeah, Jared's from Massachusetts. He's I'm sure you guys saw his intro into the Junto page, but yeah, he's looking to do some big things here, and we're happy to have him.
Awesome. Welcome, Jared. I'm not sure if you're able to talk or not right now, but it's great to have you, man. Congrats on completing the challenge for the week as well. Also, I know Cody already welcomed Casey, but Casey's first time his face is on here, so you guys can all take a peek at that pretty mug. Welcome, Casey. All right. Again, the challenge for your weekend then is get that new webinar in someone's hands. There's a lot of good stuff in there. If you were on early. You heard Michael giving his feedback on it, but Michael was talking about how he really liked it. And yeah, I think it's going to work wonders for you guys as far as really presenting the opportunity and presenting the team Junto and everything we have here. So challenge for the weekend is get that in somebody's hands. All right. Okay. Today we're going to talk about personal development on Freedom Friday, right? Mindset on Freedom Friday. I got a good lesson in store for you here today. So I'm going to start with, I guess we'll start with a couple stories here. So anybody here know who Wim Hof is? I know a couple of you probably do. Colby does. Smiling, maybe. Colby, tell these guys who Wim Hof is.
So he's this crazy dude, but he's very interesting. So he has his method to tap into our greatest potential is through doing difficult things. And he has this whole breathing technique. It's like where you breathe deep down in your stomach and then release it. And you do that like at fast pace. He's known for like doing marathons in like Antarctica, like going like just with his boxers and whatnot, running a marathon in the desert without hydrating. But he's all about the power of the mind. That the mind, there's so much more into it, but we got to go through like suffering. And also like we just got to tap into it through like his big thing is breathing though. But yes, that's
Well said. Couldn't have said it better myself. And he's got a couple records, some crazy records, but the one that might be the craziest is he was submerged up to his neck in negative 50 degrees Celsius ice water, I believe it was, for an hour and 44 minutes. Came out unharmed. Colby mentioned he's been at the North Pole in his boxers outside for a couple hours, I believe. He ran the Arctic Marathon, 26 miles in the Arctic with no shirt on. He's absolutely insane. There's a reason I'm talking about this crazy guy, though. Another story to share with you is in the Chesapeake Bay over in Virginia. I think this was like 10, 15 years ago. It was big news. There was some kind of boating accident where a grandfather and his granddaughter were out in the middle of the bay, treading water, waiting for rescuers to come get them for 3 or 4 hours. And the granddaughter, the grandfather passed out from either exhaustion or dehydration, or maybe something happened in the accident. I can't remember the full details. They were out in the water, treading water, and the granddaughter supported the grandfather's body for three and a half hours while they treaded water, waiting for rescuers to come. And the granddaughter was 4 years old. 4 years old. There's also lots of stories about stuff like this, but one in particular that I picked out on the internet this morning was a police officer that came across the scene where a mother and a young child, almost an infant, had been in a car accident, and the baby was pinned inside the car, and the car was burning. And the police officer lifted a 1.5-ton vehicle up so that the mother could open the door and get the baby out. These are superhuman feats. Wim Hof able to submerge himself in ice where most people will die in 20 or 30 minutes. He does it for an hour and a half or more. A young girl being able to support an adult body while treading water, where most of us, I mean, you would say you couldn't do that. You could barely support your own body treading water for that long. And of course, if you ever try to pick up a car, none of us could probably do that. Michael just said his grandma had a similar situation. There's many like heroic myths almost that are told about this, but there's truth behind them. But I'll ask you guys this question. What's the common theme between the crazy guy Wim Hof and the police officer and the young girl in the bay? Like, what's the common theme between these people? Why are they able to achieve these things? See if anybody can hit this on the head. Anybody got a guess? Wim Hof's a crazy guy who has no reason to put himself through this. And then there's, these people that are forced into these situations. But what's the common theme? Mindset, belief, maybe, yes, but let's get even closer. Good guesses. Anybody have a better guess? Fight or flight. That's getting closer to what I'm thinking about here. So what does flight or flight mean, Cody? Adrenaline.
It's a stimulant like response in your body that everybody's capable of, but it has to like really flip that switch. Like, this is why we have, kind of similar that everybody has it, but we don't normally use it. Like, we don't need to have a lizard brain because we're not fighting off saber-toothed tigers anymore. It's a very rare occasion, but it's possible for anyone if it's triggered.
Yeah, definitely. So that's getting a little bit closer to where I wanted to go with this. So let me ask you this. Wouldn't it be nice if you could tap into that kind of power in yourself when you needed it? I mean, hopefully you never have to lift a car up to someone, and hopefully you're not crazy enough to submerge yourself in ice water for 2 hours. But wouldn't it be nice to tap into that kind of mental fortitude and that kind of physical strength and that kind of focus? Because imagine if you could tap into that and then channel that towards your passions, your goals, your desires. I mean, imagine how much faster you could get there, right? Here's the thing that I think that all those stories have in common. All three of those people in those moments are intensely present in the here and now. When the police officer comes to that scene, he has no other problem in the world. The paperwork he has to do when he goes back to the office doesn't matter. Going home to an argument he had with his wife earlier that day doesn't matter. The only thing that matters to him is getting this car lifted off so that baby can get out. When Wim Hof is submerged in ice, I doubt his mind is thinking anything else besides like, how can I get through this next 2 hours and survive? How can I control my breath and control my body so I can come out of this the other side? These guys are intensely focused in the here and now. Here's why that's so powerful. Is because the reason I want to talk about this morning, because I was meditating this morning, and who on here meditates somewhat consistently? Good. Awesome. And if you don't, I really encourage you to practice this, and maybe today will encourage you to. This morning I was meditating, and those of you guys that meditate, you know how some days you're on it, like you feel like it's a really good meditation. Other days you sit down for 10 minutes and then your alarm goes off, or you open your eyes and you're like, what did I just think about for the last 10 minutes? Like your brain was just everywhere, right? That was me this morning. My brain was just everywhere. I had very little, focus and intention. That happens. But it's really a great practice, meditation, because it helps you become aware of that. Because if you do this, if you actually make a practice out of meditation, you will learn that your brain 99.99999% of the time is somewhere else besides the here and now. If I ask you guys to stop right now, let's do that. Let's stop, and everybody turn your video off for let's say the next 30 seconds here, and close your eyes, and don't come back until I tell you to. Right? If you're driving or something, please don't close your eyes. All right, come back. Now, I don't know if that was long enough for you to experience it or not, but did anybody already experience your brain going elsewhere? What are you thinking about, Taylor?
Just the packing that I still have to do, and then driving up to Tampa later.
Yep, packing today. Anybody else have anything stupid come up? It's a great example, but your brain is always thinking about what has to be done in the future, or what might go wrong in the future, and how we can plan better for the future, or what did I do wrong in the past, and why did I fail in the past? Your brain's always going one of two places, backwards or forwards. Very rarely is it in the here and now. But these superhuman feats that we talked about to start the call were possible. Oh, my video's still off. Thank you. The superhuman feats were possible because these people were intensely in the here and now. And I believe this is the secret to success. I really do. We hear about it a lot of different ways. Some people call it the law of attraction. Some people call it focus on one course until successful. Some people call it, brain power, whatever you want to call it. I really think that the ability to center your focus on the here and now is a superpower. It really is, because imagine how much stuff, think about how much you've accomplished in your life already without really being aware of this, maybe. And the fact that your brain is 99.999% of the time elsewhere, and you still have accomplished everything you've accomplished. Imagine if you could even get it in the present moment 25% of the time, what you'd be capable of. And you've all experienced this at some point. This is why some people procrastinate. You know, we wait up until the last minute, and then we have to focus on that paper we had to write back in school or whatever it was. We wait up to the last minute. Now we have to focus. We have no option but to. And then sometimes your best work is produced in those situations, right? Your best work is produced not because procrastination is a good thing. It's not. It's not a smart thing to do. It increases the room for error, but it does force you to become present. It does force you to become present, because if you get yourself to that moment where you got something that's due, your boss needs something on, you know, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and you only have 4 hours to get it done, you're going to eliminate all their distractions. You're going to really get down to what needs to be done, what's most important. You're going to move the ball forward and you're going to get it done, and you're going to get something good done because you have to, or else you're going to get fired or kicked out of school or whatever it is. That's focus, but that's not the way you want to do it. You want to be able to use it as a tool. So another way this is often put in The Power of Now, which is a book I highly recommend. So you get anything out of today, start meditating and read The Power of Now. It might change your life. But The Power of Now, essentially it's a long book boiled down to 1 or 2 sentences, which is all anxiety and everything you fear is all in the future, and all depressing, painful things is all in the past. And if you're just in the here and now, there's no problems. I mean, all you guys, you have some kind of, I'm with you. We have some kind of stress or anxiety right now in the back of our mind. We might not even be aware of it. We have something we're depressed about, or something we're being critical of ourselves about right now because of something we did wrong in the past. But in the here and now, none of us have a single problem. All of you guys are either, you know, have a roof over your head, you're in a car on your way to work, or on an airplane if you're Cynthia and Sierra. You got a belly full of food, you're hydrated, you're alive, you're breathing. Like, there's actually not a single problem right now in this moment. Not a single one. All of our problems are elsewhere, but we live elsewhere. Our brain lives in the present, lives in the past, lives in the future. This is why we're always thinking about problems. This is why we're always stressed out. This is why we're always having these issues. But it's impossible to be depressed. It's impossible to be anxious if you're in the here and now. And it's just a really cool thing. And it doesn't have to be some like hokey, weird thing where you have to do Wim Hof breathing techniques. If you like that, great. I do some of those things. But just the simple act of like sitting down, like listening and hearing a bird chirp outside, or even hearing a car horn a mile away, just like becoming aware there's all these things going on around you. I'm here in the present moment and everything's fine right now. Anytime you feel a negative emotion, I find it really helpful when I feel myself getting stressed or anxious, or getting too much caught up into planning for the future, which is usually where I go. I think most of us, you might be able to say, I tend to lean towards the future side where I'm always anxious, or I tend to lean towards the depressive side where I'm always thinking about the past. Usually, at least at some seasons of our lives, we all have one side of the spectrum we swing to. That's where I swing to. I'm always thinking about what could go wrong and how to plan better for the future and all these things. When I feel myself doing that, I just take a deep breath and find something in the present, which is usually like a bird chirping outside or a car horn or something to remind me like I'm in the world right now. There's things going on around me. Like, this is the world I'm in. I'm not in the world of next week or next month or next year. I'm in the world of right now, and there's not a single problem right now. Everything is A-okay. And it's a really, really helpful thing to practice. And this is why meditation is such an important thing. And I hope I'm not the best person to teach you guys on this. I hope my message is coming across all right. I mean, if you really want to learn about the power of presence, go to a yoga class or talk to someone like Zoe who's certified in this, or Lauren Frazier. But although I'm not a great teacher of it, maybe I'm a great practicer of it. I love it, and it's really changed my life. And I think that if you can start to build just 5 minutes a day, a meditation practice of 5 minutes a day, you can start to build this muscle of this mental focus, of bringing your focus back to the present moment. And that's all meditation really is to me. There's a million ways to do it. You can sit there with your legs crossed like this with your eyes closed. You can hum, you can say a mantra, you can do a breathing exercise, or you can just go for a walk outside with your eyes open, or you can be driving in the car. All meditation means to me is bringing my focus back to the present moment. And when you're able to do this, you are able to really tap into those superhuman abilities that you have. And does anybody here know who David Meltzer is? You guys ever see his videos online? David Meltzer, really successful businessman, another great guy to look up. I'm giving you guys all kinds of things today. Wim Hof and Power of Now and David Meltzer. But
isn't David Meltzer? He looks like the guy on Benchwarmers that drives the car and that has the $1 zillion house. Yeah.
Yep. He actually looks exactly like that. Yeah. He kind of talks like that too. Pretty funny, but he's a really successful businessman. He's starting to build a personal brand for himself, but I don't even remember where I was going with that now, Cody.
You have the ego video? You sent me the ego video of him, right?
Yeah, but it'll come back to me. What was I saying right before that? Before the benchwarmers thing. Here we go with focus, guys. My focus got destroyed. I'm telling you, I'm having a rough day with my focus. I don't even remember what I was saying before the benchwarmers thing. It'll come back to me. It'll come back to me. But anyways, the power of bringing your focus to the present moment. It'll allow you to tap in. I remember now. David Meltzer had a great video yesterday. He's talking about how everything that you want to become, everything you want to attain and achieve is already within you. The way he sees it is it's already within you. You just have to clear out all the crap to get there. I thought that was a really good way to describe like achievement, attainment, and pursuit of a purpose. Because many people think it's outside of you and you have to like expand yourself to become it. He said, you're already there. You just got a lot of junk in the way. You got a lot of limiting beliefs. You got a lot of poor habits. You got a lot of junk in the way. And your goal is not to become something you're not. Your goal is to simply clear out the junk. And I thought that was a really, really cool way to describe it. I never really heard it that way. And I think that's at the root of what meditation, what presence is. It's building the habit of focus. It's building the muscle of focus, because it really is a skill you can build. It really, really is. And if you've never practiced any type of presence or meditation, it will be challenging at first, really challenging. Like you won't be able to sit for 30 seconds like we just practiced earlier. You won't be able to sit there without thinking about how you have to pack later today. And that's okay. It's okay to have that, because that's the goal is not to say, I suck at this. The goal is to become aware of how much your brain is really wired to avoid the present moment at all costs. But think of the people that you admire most in the world. You know, whether this is, I'm talking about someone you actually know, not a celebrity. Think of the people that you admire. Pick one person out in your brain right now that you really admire, that you want to emulate in some way in your life that you know. And think of when you're with that person, when you spend time with that person, are those people not present in the conversation you're having with them? Are they not super present in the present moment? Like everyone that I think of that I admire, when I'm with that person, there's nothing else going on in their world besides the conversation they're having with me. And that's why we admire them so much. You know, people that are happy and healthy and wealthy and successful are really present people, because it allows you to tap into this superpower. It allows you to access all these amazing gifts you already have, you know, the ability to use. So to wrap up, I want to share one thing with you guys that the way I think about this is it's really important to be able to plan for the future. And it's really important to be able to learn from the past. And that's why our brains always go there, because those are two helpful things. Very, very helpful things. You know, an animal is not able to do that, right? An animal that, and you know, think about training a dog. How many times does a dog have to get shocked or hit or whatever till it learns a lesson? A few too many times. But a human can have one painful thing happen and then learn from that lesson and move on. And you know, a dog cannot plan for the future. A dog cannot plan for what's coming and how to adapt. But a human can actually zoom out and think, if I take this course of action, what might happen? And we can plan for things. It's a very helpful tool, but that's what it should be, as a tool. And that's how I've come to view this is I can zoom out when I need to. I can use it as a tool to plan for the future. I can zoom out and say, all right, this is what I want my life to look like 3 years from now. Based on that, this is the goal I need to hit this year. Based on that, these are the things I need to do every day. I can zoom out and plan for the future. And when I do that, I can zoom out and look at the past and say, what have I done wrong when I've tried to do this in the past? Or how can I be better than I was in the past? But it's a tool that I use, and I do my best to try to zoom out and then come back to the present moment and day to day be as present as possible. So the way I do this is I try every month or two to have a day where I really zoom out and I spend a lot of time journaling and reading and thinking and planning and goal setting. But then day to day, I try to stay focused in the here and now. And if I do a good job goal setting, if I do a good job planning, if I do a good job scheduling my days, I don't need to think about the future every day, because I've structured my life so that I'm leading myself to a better future. And then day to day, I can be focused on the present. And that's the way I view it. You know, zooming out and looking at the future and the past is a tool it's not where I live. And that's something that I'm trying to get better at every day. And, evidence this morning of my meditation and the fact that Cody's comment about bench warmers threw me off. That's evidence that I'm not very good at it, but I'm trying. So hopefully you guys can try to build this as well. And it's a lifelong journey. It's a skill to develop, to become more and more present. And the more and more present you become, I find that the happier I become and the easier it is for me to achieve the things I want to achieve. And that's what David Meltzer said yesterday. He's like, as I get better and better at this, clearing out the crap, my ability to achieve or manifest what I want becomes faster and faster and faster. He said 20 years ago, if I wanted to build $1 million business, it would have taken me decades. Today, I think I could do it in a much shorter time, not because I'm anything special. It's because I've learned how to focus on what's important and clear out the rest and get all this crap out of the way. And I'll end with this. Last night, I watched a couple episodes of The Undercover Billionaire because Grant Cardone's been promoting it. He's about to be on season 2. I didn't know what that was. It's pretty cool though. And it's a TV show where they take a billionaire and they strip him of his name, his title, and they disguise him and drop him in a random place. And they drop this particular guy in Erie, Pennsylvania. And they give him 90 days to turn $100 into $1 million in the form of a business. He has to actually do a business. He can't just like do random stuff. And it's kind of exactly what we're talking about here, like clearing out the crap. It took this guy decades to make his first, huge business. And in this show, he does it in 90 days. And of course, his experiences have helped him. His skills have gotten better, but really, he got really good at focusing on what's most important. And that's what I think the power of focus is we can get faster and faster and faster at achieving the things we want to achieve if we can clear out all the noise and stay focused on the here and now. And regardless of all of that, you're just going to be happier because there's no anxiety and there's no depression in the here and now. You can't be critical of yourself and you can't be fearful of the future when you're in the here and now. All right. So I rambled a lot with that this morning, but hopefully that was impactful for you guys or helpful in some way. I think the power of being present it really is a superpower, and it can help you tap into things that you didn't know you were capable of. Any comments or questions before we wrap up?
Get amped. Shotgun a beer today.
Michael said, "Why do you think they call them presents on Christmas?" Michael, your presence is my best present.
Yeah, that was good, Ty. Thanks for sharing that, because I think that's a daily reminder that we have to catch ourselves on, dude, because it's so easy to just fall into that trap hamster wheel, thinking about future, thinking about past stuff. It's a really good reminder.
Yep. Your brain will always go there by default, always. So if you have the luxury to do so, I encourage all you guys, take a 3-minute, 5-minute meditation right now. Once you hop off of here, just sit there in your thoughts for a little bit, go for a walk, close your eyes, whatever that looks like for you. Just try to train that muscle to stay focused in the present moment for the next 5 minutes. All right. So that's your daily challenge. And then your weekend challenge is still the same as Colby. Colby, remind us one more time what the challenge is.
Sharing the new video.
During the new webinar. All right, guys. Awesome. Well, happy Freedom Friday. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of you guys out here at our Florida Super Saturday tomorrow. And the rest of you guys, we'll see you next week. All right. Adios.
Peace.